cower, weaken, puny Federation dogs. We have taken over this Trek Sunday from your usual pathetic hosts. Bow before me, the real Stu Jackson.
And me, the real Intendant Keira.
Long live the Empire. So, hello everybody. So good to see you all. Nice to see Ed in the chat. Terra firma indeed. Oh, and I've lost my badge already. Do you know what? I do have a badge, honestly. I've lost it. Oh my goodness.
Where's it gone?
Where's it gone indeed? I will need to find that in a minute. Well, that's not very good, is it? Not a good start, but I do honestly have a badge. So hello Ed, hello Captain Quinn. Yes, Captain Quinn, I have seen that in the Discord. Thank you for sharing. Yes, I'm glad some people have noticed I'm rocking the goatee for today. And doesn't Keira look absolutely amazing? Intendant Keira, indeed.
Thank you. I think your outfit looks great. You made that yourself, didn't you?
Yes and no. Full disclosure. Full disclosure, I sort of did. So I ordered a Discovery uniform online, and amazingly for me, totally unheard of, it arrived way too big. So I've chopped it up a bit, and I've made it into my own version of the. It's disappearing, but there we go. My own version of a Terran uniform. I haven't got a proper Terran dagger, but at least it's got the blood of my enemies on it.
That's all that matters.
That is all that matters, yes. And your outfit, you made that yourself, didn't you?
Yes, this is just my turtleneck, which I usually wear under my my Voyager cosplays, and some harnesses that I bought from Primark, and this is some tin foil because you can't go to space without a tin foil hat.
Absolutely. I don't know quite what to make of that. But we have an exciting episode for everyone today, do we not?
Yeah.
Because we are going to start with a review of the original series episode. What else could it be but Mirror Mirror?
Exciting stuff. And then following that, we will be doing a deep dive into the Mirror universe itself.
If it wasn't obvious already, we'll be paying not one, but 2 visits to the Divine Treasury today.
Ooh, wonder what
exciting.
That could be. And then, as always, finishing with the latest Star Trek news.
Absolutely. But let's start then with what was, at least in the franchise, the first ever visit to the Mirror universe, the original series episode Mirror Mirror, which was the 10th episode of season 2 of the original series, which first aired on the 6th of October 1967.
Yes, and this was my first time watching this episode, which was an absolute treat. So it was a good fun watch. So during the episode, beamed up during an ion storm, which causes a transporter malfunction, the landing party of Kirk, McCoy, Scotty, and Uhura find themselves in a mirror universe aboard a parallel enterprise run by ruthless barbarians. The ion storm also caused their malicious counterparts to beam to the real Enterprise. Kirk and the others must find a way home before they are discovered and get exposed by their parallel crew members, who use treachery, backstabbing, and seduction to get what they want. Who can blame them?
Ruthless barbarians, how dare you?
Oh, dear me.
Treachery, backstabbing, and seduction. I don't know. That has its appeals.
I loved how they phrased it when they were like, they move up in the ranks by assassination. As if that was just normal for them. It was a brilliant episode. So lots of fun. And because I've watched all of Next Gen, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager and things like that, so I was basing my preconceptions on the mirror universe I've seen mostly from Deep Space Nine, and I was just like, wow, this is so different. because obviously Deep Space Nine's on Terok Nor, and this one was on the Enterprise, so obviously it was going to be different. But because of the era it was filmed in, I felt like it had a very different vibe to it as well. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm kind of old enough to remember, maybe not the first screening of it, but certainly an early screening of it as a kid, and this always stood out to me as a landmark episode, and it's like kind of key defining of the series as a whole, and it's been parodied so many times. I mean, the whole goatee thing, oh, it must be from like an alternate dimension because they've got a goatee beard. That's where this comes from, and it's only Spock who has one.
Yeah, iconic.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's your first time seeing it then? I mean, obviously you were familiar with that trope, I'm guessing.
Yeah. I mean, the parallel alternate universe thing is something that's been used in sci-fi all over the place. And I love it. It's a trope that I can really get behind, because you can use your imagination, to kind of fill in the blanks of what else is happening in that universe. And is there an alternate universe to the one we're living in, and things like that? Is there an evil version of me out there? I mean, or a good version of me. I mean, who knows? But yeah, it's something I really enjoyed watching, and the bit that I really laughed at the end when Marlena shows up on the regular Enterprise, and Kirk is like, "Oh, hello."
Yes. Really she was the captain's woman, so maybe she can be the captain's woman again.
He was like, "Oh, I think we can be friends."
Horny,
I was like,
horny
"Go
Kirk.
get her, Kirk."
He needs to go into horny jail along with Riker.
Always. Are we sure they're not related? I'm sure.
Could well be. You never know. They've both got K's and R's.
And you're related by how your name is spelled, surely.
Yeah. Well, the original version of Riker was actually going to be I think it's the son, not grandson, son of Commodore Decker. Episode with the, because that's the Decker that we see in the motion picture, who was the original version of Riker.
Yeah.
So closely related, but not quite there. So first time seeing it then. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It did sort of. It was of its era. I had to keep reminding myself that with the effects and the fight scenes, which were so dodgy, and some of the really hammy acting. And I was a bit surprised by that, actually. But I had to keep reminding myself, this was filmed in the 60s, and I'm used to a different brand of TV creation. So if I could just ignore that for a bit, it was wonderful. It was really good fun to watch. And I was watching it with my friend as well, and he had never seen it before. So it was kind of like we were both on this little trek journey into the mirror universe together. So it was nice to see where the origin of all of those mirror universe ideas came from. So that was cool.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. Context with these things is everything, and it's easy for someone of a more modern era to kind of forget that actually these were designed to be watched on screens like 9 inches across. And in, if you had colour, that was like you were the posh kid on the block. And the resolution was so fuzzy that while we look at it and we say, oh yeah, like it's so much overacting, it's like almost vaudeville in its way. Well, it had to, very much like the silent movie era, you had to have these big overplayed emotions for it to actually translate onto screen. Now, with digital remastering, it shows it up a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you kind of think of it in those terms, and I often think, digitally remastering it doesn't do it any favours in a lot of ways. Same with the special effects.
Definitely, and actually with that explanation, that makes it make a lot more sense in my mind. The bit that really stuck in my brain was when they return to the Enterprise at the end, and Uhura is like they're on the transporter pad, and she's like, And it's like the relief is just over the top. But actually, when you consider all those things you just mentioned, it makes sense that she would, normal relief is quite subtle, but if they have to make it bigger for it to be visible on that a tiny fuzzy screen, then that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, I mean, we're fortunate. We're actors in an age where, with 4K, I mean, even 1080p, sort of standard HD. The slightest reaction in the eyes is picked up. But without any of that, yes, any emotion had to be physical. Which is why, I mean, there was far smaller line between theatre and screen acting in those days. It was pretty much the same thing. You had to just communicate everything physically. We've gone on quite a tangent there, haven't we?
No, but I think it's interesting because obviously we both come from quite theatrical backgrounds, and we know a lot about acting, but acting today, is very different to how it was back then. And there's such a disparity now between acting for stage and acting for film. I have to, if I was in a theatre show, for example, I wouldn't be able to go and shoot a film the next day or the next week because I would have to switch that part of my brain. And it is quite difficult to tone yourself down after having been on stage for a while. But back then it wouldn't have been such a difference because, if everything's bigger and bolder, then, less of a gap.
Yeah. That's it. It's like sitting in the back row of the theatre. Back then,
perform for the back row is what they always told me.
That's it. Fantastic. So shall we do some trivia about this episode? Now already Captain Quinn has mentioned about how much fun Sulu probably had in this, George Takei. And he did well. In fact, we've had a few comments before we get into the trivia. Ed has pointed out that the mention of sort of killing your superior officer as a way of promoting, perfectly normal for Prime Universe Klingons, of course.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, that's true.
Is true, although that wasn't established, I don't think, until the Next Generation. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you learn about that. I can't remember the name of the episode, but the one where Riker does like an exchange program and he's the first officer on the Klingon ship. Yeah.
That's exactly the one I was thinking of, and I'm pretty sure that's the first time that was mentioned.
Can you remember the name of it?
No. Chat will tell us. I have no doubt.
Someone tell us the name of that episode.
And Captain Quinn has said that Mirror Mirror is in his top 3 of all-time TOS episodes, along with Trouble with Tribbles and Balance of Terror. And Decker, we mentioned Decker also in Phase 2. Yes, that never happened, but never mind.
You know what? I just watched the Trials and Tribulations episode literally a couple of days ago. And I remember watching that when I was younger and thinking, oh my God, it's amazing. They got all of the old actors back in to do it all over again. It's incredible. And as an adult watching it, I'm like, you are such an idiot. Like, clearly it was just really good effect.
Oh, no, I think that's lovely. And of course, like as a kid, you wouldn't appreciate the length of time perhaps that's gone by. I think that's... I wouldn't say that's stupid. I'd say that's sweet. Very nice.
Fair enough.
But do you know what? I'm going to throw in an extra bit of trivia that we haven't got in this, because you mentioned Trials and Tribulations. That end bit where Kirk is talking to Sisko is the footage from this episode, Mirror Mirror, where he's talking to Marlena at the end.
Oh my gosh! Oh my God, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, that's the one episode that they took from a different episode for Trials and Tribulations.
That's mad, isn't it? It's a good job they didn't use that whole scene of him trying to flirt with her, because Kirk flirting with Sisko would have been quite a different ending to that episode.
There's quite a lot of fan fiction out there that goes into the whole Kirk and Spock. Even a bit of McCoy action in there as well.
I've heard about the Kirk and Spock fanfic. I know that's quite a big thing that people love.
Yeah. So there we go. That's something to to look for. But yeah, so on to trivia then. As Mira Sulu is the security chief as well as the helmsman, George Takei wears a red uniform in this episode. Now, since he normally wore gold and had worn science blue as an astrophysicist in the official pilot Where No Man Has Gone Before, this makes Takei the first Trek actor to wear all 3 uniform colours.
That's awesome. Lucky him. That's
there
cool.
You go.
Very cool. And obviously the writer was Jerome Bixby, which I thought was odd because I don't know if anyone else has a Samsung phone, but the Samsung equivalent of Siri is called Bixby. So I don't know if that's related at all. I'll look that up later. But yeah, so Bixby based this episode very loosely on his own short story, which was called One Way Street. In the original draft of the script, Kirk travelled to the parallel universe alone, and the Parallel Universe Federation was battling a race called the Tharn. This name was later given to the leader of the Helkan Council, although it is not spoken on screen.
And indeed, in Jerome Bixby's original outline, the Mirror Universe Federation was not evil, but simply backwards in terms of some technology, most notably in phaser weapons. Now, initially, Mirror Kirk was married to a nurse on board the Parallel Enterprise, and Mirror Spock was more Vulcan in temperament. In addition, McCoy's counterpart, and not that of Spock, was going to be the one sporting the goatee beard.
Oh, I'd have loved to see that, actually. Maybe they should have just all had goatees. Yes, and another thing about their appearances was that Star Trek was usually not allowed to show women's navels, which, you know, a bit edgy for the 60s, but Uhura's navel is visible in the Mirror Universe, and reportedly this was accomplished by filming while a PA took the Standards representative to lunch.
Sneaky. And of course, Marlene's navel is on show at one point as well in the episode.
Yes,
so maybe
it is.
They pulled the same trick twice. Maybe it's a naval tradition.
Oh, that's such a dad joke. That is awful. Oh my god.
Well, I'm of that age. What can I say? This episode was originally released with foreign language titles using alternate translations of the episode's name. It was called simply, and I'll do the English translation of it, Mirror in France, A Parallel Universe in Germany, The Mirror in Portugal, Mirror Little Mirror in Spain, and going completely left curve, Terror of the Ion Turbulence in Japan. Now, I wonder if that's because, obviously, Mirror Mirror is from Snow White, isn't it? You know, Mirror Mirror on the Wall. Do you think that culturally... No, because France, I know, are familiar with Snow White.
I mean, the Snow White story originated in Bavaria, which is part of Germany, so...
yeah.
But potentially maybe they thought that using that from the fairy tale wouldn't have translated well in German or something. I'm not sure. I know I can sort of understand the Japanese one because having spent quite a lot of time in Asia, their language is very sort of direct, and I think if they'd have called it Mirror Mirror, it would have meant something completely different. So they would have had to name it something more on the nose for it to have made sense. So that one makes sense to me, the Japanese one. Okay. And perhaps the other translations maybe are to do with different sayings in the country. So Mirror Little Mirror, maybe there's a translation of the Snow White rhyme or something, where it says Mirror Little Mirror instead of Mirror Mirror. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just clutching at straws here. I'm just
no. It's curious why they do. And of course we're forgetting the most obvious reason, which is maybe there was already trademarked stuff. With that name.
Of course. Yeah.
It's something just occurred to me.
Mm. Yeah, no, that makes
Maybe
sense.
it's something really mundane.
Mm. Hmm.
Fantastic. So
Yeah,
Mirror
so
Mirror, definitely one to recommend
yeah, I
to
loved
the
it. That was really good
viewers.
fun. Is it time for our deep dive?
Let's do a deep dive.
Yeah, I'm excited for this because I love the Mirror Universe episodes, and um yeah, let's find out some more
I
about
do.
it.
I mean, the whole Terran universe concept is obviously one that I mean, look at the effort I've put into today's, stream with the logo and
I love it. I think
Terran Trek Sunday.
give Stu a round of applause because that looks absolutely incredible. I don't have the time to do any of this stuff, so yeah, well done, Stu.
Thank you. But yeah, no, I mean it's a work of passion and of love. But no, of course, like the concept of a mirror or alternate universe is something that's talked about quite a lot in scientific terms.
Mm.
I don't know if you're familiar with this, are you, Keira?
I mean, I've touched on it, but perhaps maybe read different journals or different articles. What you've read, because I've read quite a lot about the infinite universe theory, where there's an infinite number of alternate universes that just coexist alongside ours. What were you thinking?
Well, so I sort of delved a little bit without going into sort of the quantum mechanics of it all, which is way over my head. It seems that the scientific community is pretty much split on this. That half of scientific community kind of embraces the idea, and the other half say there is absolutely no scientific foundation for this whatsoever, which it seems to be the case. And that it's in fact a philosophical notion rather than a scientific notion.
Mm.
I also wonder if there's a lot of kind of wishful thinking on the part of humanity, because this idea that every time you make a decision, there's a reality where the alternative is played out, kind of takes the pressure off us as humans for all the mistakes that we make in life, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the things I was going to mention actually, is that for every decision you've made, another universe splits off. Or if there's a decision where there's 4 options, there's 4 different universes there. But then how many times can that happen? Is there literally an infinite number of universes? There are different universe for each person and every decision they make? Or is it just like 10 different universes and different things happen in each one? Like, how would you quantify it? I'm obsessed with this theory because I like to imagine there is another me out there who has a completely different life, and who went to a different university and had different friends, and I don't know, maybe I'm a doctor in another life, who knows, maybe I didn't like acting, could be anything. And I find that so difficult to comprehend, but I love thinking about it at the same time.
It's one of those funny things. I mean, I think most of us daydream about the what ifs, what could have beens, and the concept of an alternate universe kind of almost gives a reality to that daydream, doesn't it?
Yeah, I love it. It's fascinating. I'd love to meet another me. There's actually a film that I love. It's got one of my favorite actors in, Britt Marling, who was the lead actor in The OA on Netflix. So some of you may have heard of her. It's a science fiction film that I think she helped write it or produce it or something. It's called Another Earth. And there's within the film, another planet Earth appears in the sky, where the 2 parallel universes have just sort of crossed over just enough that you can see another planet Earth in our own atmosphere, close enough to travel to. And she meets herself from this other planet who had a different life and made different decisions. And you don't really get to see her meeting her other character until right at the end. You literally just see them come face to face, and they stop and they stare at each other, and they never really delve into what that would look like. And I think they've done that on purpose because they want you as the audience to imagine it for yourself what that would be like. Yeah, so anything with like a parallel universe or a mirror universe, I'm obsessed with. I'll watch anything that's got that kind of trope in it because I find it fascinating. I love stretching my brain to try and comprehend things on a scale that we're not built to understand these kind of things.
So if it's a philosophical notion rather than a scientific one, then if there's no scientific evidence, then I suppose it comes down to a matter of faith and belief, very much like with religion.
Yeah.
So the question I'm going to ask you then, Keira, is do you believe that there are infinite universes out there, or is it just wishful thinking?
I mean, I have a very logical brain, and one of the schools of thought that I believe in is that you can't prove a negative. So just like you can't prove that God doesn't exist, you also can't prove that there aren't other universes. The only way you would know for sure is if you could prove the positive of that. So if someone went out and found proof that God did exist, I would believe. If someone went out and found proof that alternate universes existed, I would believe. But until that point, I'm kind of agnostic in my beliefs. Like I believe there is the potential for these things to exist, but I don't necessarily believe wholeheartedly that they do yet. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think, I mean, if it's purely a matter of choice as to whether I choose to believe, because it just makes life that bit easier and nicer, I suppose.
That's true.
And that's simply it. We've had a lot of comments in the chat. Paul, Tea Party Fox, has said that we're both looking good today. And Ed has wisely given me my full title of Captain Stu, Tyrant of Titan, Slayer of the Suliban, the Beast of Risa.
I love that. The Beast of Risa.
Whether that's the beast with two backs or not, we won't discuss. And yeah, in terms of thought experiments, Captain Quinn has mentioned, of course, Schrodinger's experiment, which is quite a famous one with the cat and the poison in the box.
Very familiar with that one.
Rightly points out he didn't actually do it. It's a thought experiment. Unlike Pavlov, who was a cruel sod who actually jammed metal tubes into dogs' saliva glands.
Yeah, that was a bit much, wasn't it?
But really useful information. I'm very torn on that one. Yes, and Paul has said that the theory is that it's an infinite number of universes rather than a limited number. Yeah. And there was a Next Generation episode that explored that as well, wasn't there? One where Worf comes back from in his shuttle and the area starts filling up with Enterprises where people had made lots of different decisions.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And then you get that one Riker who looks like an absolute mess, like he's a wreck.
Yes.
Like homeless
where
Riker.
They didn't rescue Picard from the Borg.
And they want to come into our universe, well, the Enterprise's universe, because they can't bear their own. Is that the one? That's so funny.
Absolutely.
That reminds me of when I was on A Question of Trek. I was on their live stream and they do the picture round with the fuzzy pictures. And the week before I was on, they had done a picture of that I call him homeless Riker. I don't know if you know this, but they'd done a picture of homeless Riker, and none of them could. I don't think any of them got it, but they did the same picture again the next week, and everyone was like, "Oh, you can't do the same one twice in a row." But yeah, that was really funny. Poor homeless Riker.
Absolutely, and we've also had a comment from Sir Heinhardt. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'll apologise if not. Welcome to the stream. Nice to have you with us. Who says that there are some theories that multiverses are created at moments of choice, but eventually are drawn back together when they achieve parity, keeping the number of universes down. Oh, so it only separates for a period of time. I like that idea.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
it does make sense. Paul is trying to get us down the route of dark matter. That's a whole other topic, right there.
I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I really don't know much about that topic, actually. So, one for another time, perhaps, when I have to do some research on it.
One. It's one for when you get caught up on Discovery. Just saying. No spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers, please.
There we go. Fantastic. So it is an absolutely fascinating subject, and I'm afraid we have no solutions to give you on this show.
Yeah, unfortunately, me and Stu don't actually know everything.
Yeah, I know everything. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. Just me then.
Actually, if I did know everything, I would know what you're talking about. No. Anyway, all right, I can lose myself very quickly down that rabbit hole. So let's move on and let's talk about the history then of the Star Trek Mirror Universe, shall we? And what we know of it, at least.
Yes. So in 2063, which is not that far away from where we are right now, 42 years? Blimey. Zefram Cochrane launches Earth's first warp vessel. The Vulcans make first contact with the Terrans, and during first contact, Cochrane kills the Vulcan captain, and his fellow Terrans storm the Vulcan ship.
Fast forward to the late 21st century, and sometime between 2063 and 2155, the lunar colonies are attacked by Emmet-type starship with photonic torpedoes. The Terran Empire conquers the Vulcans, the Andorians, the Tellarites, the Denobulans, and the Orions, as they rightly should. And Starfleet engages in a conflict with the Xindi.
And in 2155, as the Imperials struggle to put down a massive rebellion, the ISS Enterprise discovers the USS Defiant, which has been lured from the primary universe 100 years in the future. After a brief power struggle on board the Defiant, Hoshi Sato takes command and declares herself Empress.
Just 2 years later, the USS 102 years later, I'll get this right, just 2 years. 102 years later, the USS Discovery under Captain Gabriel Lorca, spoilers, Keira, spoilers, arrives in the Mirror Universe with the use of its spore drive.
Then in 2267, a transporter accident brings several personnel from the primary universe to the Mirror Universe, which is the episode we watched. James T. Kirk Prime encourages Mirror Spock to start a revolution.
How dare he? And hello to Edit Chris Edit. Thank you for joining us. And yes, we all love some Mirror Universe over here. So, late 23rd century, sometime between 2267 and 2270, so shortly after the events you mentioned there, Spock becomes Commander-in-Chief of the Terran Empire and implements several major reforms, turning the Empire into a more peaceful, less aggressive power. Prior to the full enactment of these reforms, the Terran Empire forces occupy Bajor. Spock's reforms leave the Empire unprepared to fight against the Klingon-Cardassian alliance. The alliance conquers the entire Terran Empire, enslaving the Terrans and Vulcans.
Oof. Then, in the 2370s, Julian Bashir and Kira Nerys become the first people from the primary universe to cross over to the Mirror Universe in 103 years. Quark is executed, the primary Dr. Bashir kills Odo, the Terran Rebellion begins. This is a lot of information right here, so I hope you're paying attention, everyone. Benjamin Sisko is killed when his freighter is destroyed. Garak executes Rom. Miles O'Brien becomes the leader of the rebellion. The rebellion takes Terok Nor. The rebels build a Defiant-class starship, the ISS Defiant, based on schematics stolen from the primary universe. It helps the rebels to remain in control of Terok Nor. Intendant Keira Nerys kills Nog and Jennifer Sisko. What a cow! After a battle between the ISS Defiant and the Regent's flagship, the Rebellion captures Regent Worf.
And that's as much information, at least from primary canon or alpha canon, as is known. As mentioned by Captain Quinn in the chat, there are a number of books on TNG Mirror Universe, and indeed comic books. And yes, Edit Chris Edit, we've got some news coming, so look forward to that. And yeah, Ed says Marlena, closely followed by Evil Hoshi, who is awesome. Hoshi is awesome.
Yeah. If anyone watching likes Hoshi and likes uses TikTok, I have a friend on TikTok who has cosplayed Hoshi and lots of other cool characters, and their TikTok is at Cottage Trek, and you should go and follow her because she's awesome. Her name's Leah. She's really cool. Excellent.
Paul has asked if I have any of those. I have some of the graphic novels. I actually don't have any of the Mirror Universe novels, though. Most of my novels currently are Q-based novels.
Of course they are.
They are. But I do like a bit of Q. But yeah, so but one day I'll be having some Mirror Universe novels, no doubt. But graphic novels, absolutely.
Mirror Universe novels. The only Star Trek novel I've got is Full Circle, which is a Voyager one. So if anyone's got any titles you want to send my way, please send them to me, because I'd love to invest in some more books.
I'll send you the books I've read.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, I'd love that.
There you
awesome.
Go. Cool. Right, there we go. But yes, do put your in fact, that's probably a really good place to plug the Discord, where you can get involved in the chat away from the show. The link is in the description below, so do come join us on Discord and give Keira your novel recommendations. That's recommendations for novels to read, not recommendations that are novel. Although maybe some of those as well. Although no,
throw them all at me. I'll take any.
Probably best to discourage this, because you probably get enough of that from Twitter already. All sorts of recommendations for Keira.
Yeah, I think actually Twitter's alright. I tend to attract quite pleasant people on Twitter. The only person I've blocked recently was someone who said some really misogynistic, racist stuff about Keiko. As long as you're not doing that, you'll be fine.
I mean, the misogynistic racist is bad enough, but Keiko,
she's an angel.
Keiko's great.
I love her.
Why would you want to diss on Keiko? Oh, right. We're gonna have to do an episode on Keiko now.
Oh my god, please! Oh, let's do it, because my friend Danny doesn't like Keiko, and I'm pretty sure he read one of those misogynistic, racist articles that slates her. So let's change his mind. Oh my god, can we do that?
Oh yeah, we're definitely doing a deep dive on Keiko. No, I'll rephrase that. We're definitely doing an episode on Keiko at some point. As Paul very, very rightly says, Trek is all about being inclusive. Yes, it is.
Infinite diversity, right, infinite combinations. Thank you.
Yeah. It always astounds me when so many people who consider themselves Trek fans miss that point.
It's sad, isn't it?
I mean, there's even Facebook groups like, right-wing Trek fans, and
ew.
You've missed the entire point. But yes. Right, shall we, rather than getting all political, because I have a tendency to do that, and then I go off on one, and then like an hour goes by in the stream, and I've not stopped ranting. So, shall we move on to the Divine Treasury?
Yes, please. This is quickly becoming my favourite segment of the show, just because it's called the Divine Treasury now. I love it.
Shall I go first?
You go first. Yeah, let's do it.
I'll go first then. Here we are this week on the Divine Treasury. I am showing you one of my Eaglemoss Hero Collector models. And of course, what better this very week than the ISS Sharon. Now, the Sharon is the Terran flagship that was launched in 2255. It housed the palace of the Terran Emperor, Her Most Imperial Majesty, Mother of the Fatherland, Overlord of Vulcan, Dominus of Kronos, Regina and/or Philippa, Giorgio Augustus, Iaponius Centarius. Yeah. I had to read that out. I will admit. The Sharon was powered by a mycelial power core, which you can see in the model just there. Very nice. The big white switch did not exist on the studio model, and it's supposed to light up. Oh, the batteries must have run out.
Oh no!
Would have helped if I'd checked that before, but it lights up anyway. Normally, yeah, there's lots on YouTube that you can see where people are actually having them light up. But it's a beautiful. I mean, it's a big old model. This one, one of the biggest in the collection, part of the Discovery collection, of course. And it's a real departure from the usual sort of Federation style or human style or Terran style ships. It has, of course, got its nacelles on either side, but beyond that, I believe up here, there we go, get it up to there. Yes, this is where the palace is, up here. I think the bridge is located somewhere down here, but it's got some lovely details like the Terran logo, exactly the same as the badge that fell off and I can't spot easily. Looking again. Oh, I found it. Right. Bear with me 2 seconds, because I'm not properly dressed without my badge. Sorry about this. There we go. Right. Get the angle right. Sorry. It's got to be done. It's got to be done. It's got to be right. There we go. Right. I've now got. Oh no, that's the wrong angle as well. This is why I spent hours getting ready first. You know. That's gonna do. Right. Okay. So back to the ship. Yeah. So it's a really nice ship. Very reasonably priced for what it is. So much detail in it. Beautiful. The only trouble is it's on the stand backwards. Normally they come in. They would be sort of that way on, but the stand goes on the front end, which I think was a bit of an oversight, and I think they got it slightly wrong. Yes, it does need a mini disco edit Chris edit, and that would be a Micro Machines Discovery would be really nice alongside this, in fact, or maybe Ed can make one because he's really good with that sort of thing. I've dropped my earpiece now, Keira.
Oh my goodness!
It's all going horribly wrong.
Just can't get the start, Dave.
I don't know why it's all going wrong. But yes, as Ed said, it is a real flying palace and fortress. Captain Quinn says it's got a similar look to the Andromeda Antecedent. Oh, that's a. I can see it now. You've said it. But Ed has said the most 40k that Trek has got so far. That's Warhammer 40k for the uninitiated. Yes, it really is. Well, we've said, I believe, in the chat in Discord about the similarities between the Terran Empire and Warhammer 40k universe. Yeah, a little bit of an overbalance, but it's a beautiful model. Anyway, so there we go. Now, Keira, you recently did a thing, didn't you? You received a thing.
I was going to save it to unbox it live, but I'm the most impatient person in the world, and I couldn't not open it when it arrived. I literally ran up to my room and ripped it right open. So I have a friend on TikTok called Paul O'Hara who has his own 3D printer, and he saw some of my cosplays and some of the videos I've been making on TikTok. and offered to 3D print me my very own a bunch of stuff. But he started with one thing and then he just didn't stop, and he made me loads of stuff. And originally he didn't ask me for any money, but I was like, no, let me at least pay you for the materials you've used and for postage and stuff. So in the end I did give him some money for it, but it was just, he wanted to do it out of the kindness of his heart. And he's quite talented at what he does. Like he showed me videos of how you set things up on a 3D printer, and I was just amazed. And yeah, so I sent Stu a video of my unboxing, which is on my TikTok if anyone's interested. But yeah, so I sent Stu the video.
We can all watch it now.
Go on then, let's watch it.
Shall we go over and watch it? Here it is for all you lovely viewers.
Here's an unboxing. A massive thank you to Paul O'Hara who sent me these things in the mail. I've always wanted to do an unboxing video, so this is super exciting. I am so grateful. Look at this absolutely gorgeous 3D printed model of Voyager. I am astounded by the tiny details in this. It's absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. And a 3D printed hypo spray, absolutely perfect. Feels so nice to hold. And here we have a 3D printed version of 7 of 9's ocular implants, which is also very detailed. Look at it, it's amazing. And her jawline sort of ear implant too, which is absolutely gorgeous. Thank you so much. And last but not least, this is my absolute favourite, the Bajoran earring. I've wanted one for so long. Thank you so much, it's gorgeous.
There we are. Very, very nice TikTok video. Thank you for sending that through.
I feel so lucky that someone wanted to do all these things for me. And since I've posted the video, I've had like 2 or 3 other people be like, I've got a 3D printer, I can make you stuff. And people are telling me to make like Amazon wish lists and get myself a PO box and stuff. I'm just like, oh my God, like what is going on here? Like... but yeah, it's really, TikTok's a lovely place to meet other Trekkies who are really, really kind. Yeah, just lovely people, really lovely people on TikTok.
I'm not on TikTok myself, and I know I keep saying this like every time. It's like, as a 48-year-old guy, it doesn't feel like home.
Yeah, I understand what you mean, because TikTok really... I used to use TikTok years ago. It used to be called Musical.ly, and they had a big changeover, and it wasn't something I was really into. And last year it became really big with people my age, and I was like, I'm not going to download that. That's awful. And loads of people started using it during the first lockdown, and I was like, I'm not downloading that rip-off of Vine. And then this year I've just been really into it, and I downloaded it, and I've had loads of fun. And you'd be surprised by how welcoming was the Star Trek community. They're people of all ages, people from all around the world. They're really kind and, yeah, really, really nice, supportive people. It's a good little Trek community on there. So I recommend checking it out. Even if you don't want to make videos, it's nice to watch other people's, I think.
Well, Paul in chat has certainly said, like me, Paul thought that TikTok was for kids, but guess not. You're certainly selling a strong case for it. Captain Quinn thought that TikTok was all about Bill Bailey dancing.
I've never seen Bill Bailey on there, but
slightly niche. And Captain Quinn has also said he fancies a Bajoran earring.
Yeah, so the reason he did the Bajoran earring for me was because I was just going to buy one online, but they're extortionate. If you want to buy a proper one, they're like 30, 40 quid. If you want a really good one, they can be like 60 quid. And I'm like, I don't want to spend that much money. So I was going to just buy just a normal earring and just wear one that wasn't the right shape or whatever, just for the sake of having something on my ear. But then no, he said he would 3D print me one, and he did. It's quite big. It's a bit bigger than it should be, but I'm going to get a chain for it. So hopefully next time I do a Bajoran character, I'll have the earring on. But yeah, so it was lovely of him. I find 3D printers fascinating as well. I remember when they said that they could print things in 3D years ago when I was a kid. I was like, that's never going to happen. And now here we are. I'm the proud owner of a 3D printed model of Voyager, so I'm very happy with it.
This might surprise you. I used to have a Bajoran earring.
Did you?
And I'm going back probably 25 years ago. It was when Deep Space Nine was up and running. You know, same style as Kira, so same style, but it was like a Star Trek official product. But it was for pierced, because my ear is actually pierced. But of course, you wear it in this ear, and this ear's not pierced. So I couldn't really. I could have worn it, but only on the wrong ear, and I'm too much of a perfectionist.
Yeah, that's fair.
For that, I've lost it, which is a shame.
Oh, it's a shame. I bet, you know, those sorts of things are probably like collected these days if they're from the original era where it was all coming out.
Yeah. And Captain Quinn, I think, my piercing is closed as well. I haven't worn an earring in many, many years, but I reckon I could jab something through it because I can feel it's still there. So I could jab something through if it came to it.
Yeah, do it.
There we go. You're right.
Oh my god, that just scared the life out of me.
What's happening on Terok Nor?
Sorry, Danny's just got home.
Oh, right.
I was like, oh my god. Well, come and say hello then.
Okay. Drama indeed, Paul. Hello, Danny. You're live on Terran Trek Sunday. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right, mate. I'm a bit intimidated.
Yeah, well, it's all right. I've already bloodied my knife today, so you're fine. You're fine.
Nice.
Oh, this is our live stream.
Fantastic. So, say hello to everyone. We've got Edit, Chris, Edit, Captain Quinn, Paul, Ed. They're all watching and saying hello. Ed indeed has said, "Hail, Danny."
Terraformer. Love it.
They're all saying hi, Dan. So there you go.
Wonderful.
Is it Dan or Danny?
Danny's good.
Danny's good. There we go. But they're all saying hello to you. Oh, Chris Edit just said hello, Daniel. They like to be, yes. There we go. Fantastic. Nice to see you. Yes, indeed. Well, it's always nice to have guests on the show.
Amazing. Right. Shall we go on to the Star Trek news?
Yes. Well, before we do, tell Danny he needs to be in costume next time.
Oh, yeah. Danny, you have to wear a costume next time. Okay. He said okay. Oh my goodness. Right. So,
folks,
our first lot of Star Trek news is from Lower Decks. So, Lower Decks will be released on Blu-ray and DVD. Oh, my mum's birthday, so that's cool.
Oh, happy birthday to your mum. Yes, no steelbook yet though. I don't know whether to get the Blu-ray or hang on for a steelbook.
Well, you're going to end up getting the steelbook anyway, so you might as well just wait.
Yeah, but that means waiting.
I don't think either of us are very good at that.
Eddie Chris Eddie has said that perhaps you can get Danny the Mick Fleetwood costume.
Oh, what a big fish. I think he'd look good in that.
Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah, so there we go. Yes, Lower Decks. Now, already mentioned in the chat today, the IDW graphic novel series about the Mirror Universe. Well, Year 5, which they've been running for quite a while now, that series is coming to an end this summer. But on Wednesday, they announced a year-long follow-up set in the 24th century's Mirror Universe.
Ooh.
It's going to launch on September the 8th, which, of course, as we all know, is Star Trek Day. And there will be a bit of a preview with an issue 0 coming out in August, though. IDW first did a take on the Next Generation Mirror, which is the one series we've not seen a Next Generation version of. But they did quite a famous version of TNG Mirror in 2017, and this will invite readers, as they put it, to witness what the galaxy could be like at the mercy of a Captain Picard whose greatness is measured in cunning and cruelty. And that series is going to be entitled Mirror War.
Is this the series we've seen a lot of those illustrations from, where you've got Picard in the Mirror Universe costume, or are they just illustrations that people have done? Okay, cool. Amazing.
Well, some of it might be from that, but it might be people's fan art. But essentially, it is the IDW series that comes from.
Nice.
And also the 3 nacelle variant of the Enterprise as a dreadnought, rather, a bit like what we saw in All Good Things, but basically an ISS version.
Nice.
Yes.
Very cool. And we have Section 31 series that Shazad Latif hinted at possible movement on the spin-off during a recent Digital Spy interview. And, quote, "It's just been slight yeses, slight questions, but I've no idea. I think it's down to people's schedules," unquote. So, what do you think about
still
that?
On the table then, because it has gone very, very quiet, of course, but it's still on the table. I really want to see a Section 31 series. I love
me
Section
too.
31.
I'm not going to lie. I don't know much about Section 31, but there's been a lot of talk of Section 31 on TikTok and on Twitter recently. So I think people are really gunning for it. People want it really badly. So fingers crossed they listen to the fans, because clearly it's something that's got a bit of demand out there. So
just another thing we need to thank Deep Space Nine for.
Yeah.
Best series. Anyway,
in your
rapidly becoming my favourite series, of course, is Discovery, and we have a bit of news about Season 4. The writing for Season 4 has wrapped, according to a tweet from writer Michelle Paradise. And Tig Notaro has said about how excited she is to return as Jet Reno. And we've had hints that this series is going to focus much more on Burnham's new role, which of course, spoiler alert, not seen Discovery.
I know, I'm letting you down so badly. I just won't come on again until I've watched Discovery, okay?
It's fine, as long as you've seen Picard.
Well,
we will resolve all this. And Captain Quinn put a lovely link for us in the Discord just before the show about the Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead. And of course Tig Notaro being in that as well. Tig Notaro's brilliant. Her stand-up comedy routines are just phenomenal, and her character in Discovery, Keira, is amazing. It's worth piling through all the lens flares, which only last a couple of episodes anyway. It's worth piling through them just to get to Tig Notaro's character.
I'll make my way through the lens flares. I'll get some sunglasses. That will sort me out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
honestly, it's worth it.
Yeah, I believe you. I'll get to it eventually. I promise. I'll rectify the situation. Don't you worry. So that brings us to the end of our news and our episode for this week. So join us next time for another episode review of.
I'm gonna stop you right there. It's not join us next time, is it?
No, but I didn't want to tell them that, because then people will be angry at me.
Oh, tell people.
Oh, okay. Yes. Join Stu next week, because Keira is going for a bank holiday weekend with her best friends. So I will be away next weekend, I'm afraid. But you can join Stu next week for an episode review on the Next Generation episode, Tapestry.
Yes, I will also be doing a deep dive on one of my personal favourites, the Q Continuum. So
I'm
I need to
actually
get
a
my
bit
black
gutted I'm
lipstick
not
out
going to
for
be
that.
around next week because I love talking to you about Q. And as usual, there will be more from the Divine Treasury, which,
Yes.
again, gutted to be missing.
We're hoping as well, and I'm saying we, even though not here next weekend, but still we are hoping to bring you a special new segment.
Yes, of
Eyes
course.
peeled for that. Eyes peeled.
I may not be here in person, but I may have a treat for you all. So yes, join in next week, and hopefully you will get to see some of me, even if I'm not here for the whole time. And then, of course, you'll be finishing off with the latest news from the Trekverse. So do tune in next week if you want to catch all of that.
Until then, terra firma.
Long live the Empire.
Take care. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.